Hello. Good evening in Europe. Good afternoon on the East Coast in the US. Good morning on the West Coast. This is John Paval with Access Arts Live and this week's roundup of live streams of chamber music, both classic chamber music and very contemporary chamber music. We have all kinds for you this week, mostly coming from the US. Before I go any further, remember to like this video if you're watching on Facebook, and we will send you an invitation to follow us. Click the subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube, or follow or subscribe to us on X, TikTok, Instagram, or Threads, please. And we will bring you more than 1,000 live links to live performances online in 2025. That's a promise. You can bank on it. Now, whatever else you're doing, if you are an early music enthusiast and you stumble upon this live stream as I'm giving it, hang up and go right now to March Vivo's YouTube live stream channel. They are live streaming a terrific, very erudite concert for early music lovers. It's Mahan Esfahani on the harpsichord, playing works by Emmaunel de Falla, Scarlatti, and a rarely heard concerto for harpsichord and orchestra by Francisco Coll. You don't hear this every day, and it's happening right now. It all is related to a meeting between this Wanda Landowska and Emmaunel de Falla, the composer who met in Paris in 1910, sparking a friendship and that culminated in the first modern harpsichord concerto, composed by the Spanish musician in 1926. So you want to check that out if you're an early music enthusiast. But it's happening right now. If you're looking at a recording of this live stream on my part later on, you missed it. And I strongly recommend to you that when it comes to any of the live streams we tell you about, you want to catch them live, while a living, breathing artist and or artist are pouring out their hearts, minds, and souls into the creation of this moment of truth and beauty to be shared by the audience, both the physically present audience and the remote audience. That's a social event which I highly recommend to everybody. I just think it's terrific. That's why Access Arts Live exists, to promote more of that kind of an experience on a global basis. So let's start going through what we have for you this week. We have 6 or 7 live streams to recommend to you just this week up until Friday. The weekend live streams in the way of chamber music will have to be done in a separate live stream on Friday or Saturday, because there are at least half a dozen on Sunday. There's no way I can get all this down into a manageable time for you today. But let's start with the next live stream that's coming up a little later today. It's 6:30 in the evening, roughly, here in Europe, which makes it 12:30 noon on the East Coast in the US and 9:30 in the morning on the West Coast. At 7:30 in the evening on the East Coast, an hour from now, 4:30 in the afternoon on the West Coast, 1:30 in the morning in Europe. No, actually, that's not an hour from now. That's like 6 hours from now. 7. I'm sorry. No, don't worry about having to race to check it out. But it's 7:30 in the evening in Europe and 1:30 in the evening. 7:30 in the evening on the East Coast, 1:30 in the evening in Europe, and etc. This will be the Dover Quartet and Michel Cann. Let me introduce this to you properly. Wednesday, January 29th, 92 NY is back with a live stream concert by the award-winning Dover String Quartet and the award-winning pianist Michel Cann at 7:30 in the evening Eastern Standard Time. That's right, it's the Dover String Quartet, which is the ensemble in residence at the Curtis Institute of Music. This is a group that the New Yorker called the Young American String Quartet of the moment, and which Gramophone called Cann a pianist of sterling artistry. The BBC Music magazine named the Dover Quartet as one of the greatest string quartets of the last 100 years. So this is nothing to sneeze at. It's coming to you from 92 NY, so it's not going to be free of charge. It will cost you 25 US dollars or about 24 euros. But this is top of the line music. That's and it's on the 92NY's own website is how they do it. We give you the link to that. We'll also give you a link to the bio pages of the Dover Quartet and of Michelle Cann, who is also the Sphinx Medal of Excellence winner from last year and a Curtis Institute of Music alum. The Dover Quartet, the string quartet, since they are the ensemble in residence at the Curtis Institute of Music, now have a faculty role there. They also do residencies with the Kennedy Center, the Beanon School of Music at Northwestern University, Artosphere, and the Amelia Island Chamber Music Festival. They did one noteworthy historic event about a decade ago. They've been around about 20 years. In 2013, they went to the Banff International String Quartet competition, and they won all the prizes. And they've also won prizes at Wigmore Hall and the Fishoff Chamber music competition. So these are top of the line. As for Michelle Cann, she has been called, I think I told you, a pianist of sterling artistry, an exquisite pianist. She made her debut with the Philadelphia Orchestra in 2021. She's recently performed with the Cleveland Orchestra, the National Symphony Orchestra, OCESP, the orchestra down there in Sao Paulo, Brazil, who are now on their summer break, the LA Phil, Atlanta, Baltimore, and Cincinnati symphonies. She is known as a leading interpreter of the works of Florence Price. She won a Grammy Award in 2023 for her recording of Price's piano concerto in one movement with the New York Youth Symphony. She's got a debut solo album out on the Revival label. What are they going to be playing? You might be interested in that too. They'll be playing Jesse Montgomery Strum, Leos Janáček String Quartet No. 1, the Kreutzer Sonata, Florence Price's Fantasie Nègre No. 2 in G minor, and Dvorak's Piano Quintet No. 2 in A major, Opus 81. So that it looks to be a quality concert. It's coming up in less than an hour. If you want to put down your $25 for it, I guarantee you will get quality chamber music in return for it. We move on to one of my favorites. And let me put up a separate photo for this. And I didn't put up a separate photo for the Dover Quartet, but I think that photo I had up there will serve. That guy there is Emmaunel Coppey. Early music enthusiasts have a chance to enjoy a rare exhibition of 18th century violin technique with Midtown Concerts live stream of Emmaunel Coppey playing Bach all by himself this Thursday, January 30th. That's right. It's the ever dependable Midtown Concert series of the Gotham Early Music Society in New York, whom we're always telling you about every week. It's always good quality. He'll be playing Bach's second sonata in D minor and his second partita in A minor. And this is a demonstration of 18th century violin technique. There will be a pre-concert 10-minute remarks by Lewis Kaplan, who's a lecturer, a senior professor of violin and chamber music at Juilliard, but it will not be a part of the live stream. They tell me they'll put it up as a recording afterwards. Coppey graduated from the Royal Academy of Music in London and the Paris Conservatory. He's London-based now. He's a City Music Foundation artist. He's a Queen Elizabeth Music Chapel artiste en résidence, artist in residence. He plays with the Frankfurt Ensemble Modern Academy, and he's a member of the London Contemporary Soloists. He's, as a chamber musician, he's performed with Nelson Gerner, Mark Coppey, Augustin Dumay, Anna Vinitskaya, etc., etc. And his repertoire ranges from Baroque to contemporary music and includes all the Bach sonatas and partitas with which he won the 2023 Bach Barbash competition. So, early music lovers, I think this is one that you may not want to miss. Although, in general, I don't see why any early music lover would miss any of these Midtown concerts. They're every Thursday at 1:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10:15 in the morning on the West Coast, and 7:15 in the evening here in Europe. That's right, I'm in Paris, France, and enjoying it. So, tune in and enjoy it there on YouTube. And if you see Access Arts Live in the chat box on YouTube, say hello and let us know if we were the ones who brought you there. Even if you don't see us there, tell the moderator at Midtown Concerts, hey, Access Arts Live told me about this thing. That's why I'm here. So we get a little credit for all the work we're doing. Okay? All right. Now, let's move on to the next live stream that we have for you, which will be a duo this time. And if I'm not mistaken, this is a very intriguing duo, and it's a 2-part concert series. Yeah. I mentioned a live stream by Roulette Intermedium in our weekend roundup last Friday, which would have been, I can't remember the date, January something or other, 24th, I think, whatever. And I told you you'd be hearing more about them. And this is just the beginning. They are up and running with the series of live streams. This is very contemporary, this one. Let me give you a proper announcement of it. Roulette Intermedium hosts a 2-part live stream of a unique new composition played on a newly designed long stream instrument, cello, guitar, and more, Thursday and Friday evening Eastern Standard Time in the U.S. The piece is called Soundless by Ellen Fullman. She'll be performing it with Theresa Wong. Do I have the right photo up there for you? Yeah, that's the two of them. Ellen Fullman invented the long string instrument that she's going to be playing. Theresa Wong will be playing cello, electric guitar, and electronics. And the piece, Soundless, they tell us, explores the essence of string resonance to create a space of connection, empathy, and multiplicity. Well, how about that? They talk about the spectrally undulating tones of the long stream instrument. You're going to have to hear it to know. And the cello and electric guitar expanding the dimensions of the sounds through 4-channeled amplification. Folks, this is some of the now stuff where very classical meets completely new and electronic. The piece was commissioned by the Australian music producer Room 40. After Room 40 produced and released Fullman and Wong's album called Harbors, they liked it so much that they invited them to do this piece on commission. So, and Fullman and Wong have been collaborating since 2006. I can tell you that. Fullman, interestingly enough, Fullman is a Kansas City Art Institute graduate with a BFA in sculpture, but she made her way via being inspired by composer and instrument builder Harry Partch to get involved in musical composition. And she's appeared at contemporary music festivals across the world, including Rewire at The Hague, the Musica Festival in Strasbourg, Tectonics Festival in Athens, the Sydney Festival. Her awards, she's gotten awards from the Guggenheim Fellowship for Composition, the Gerbaud Foundation, the Foundation for Contemporary Arts Award. I mean, the list just goes on. So, she has gotten some recognition for doing very, what I call not new music, but now music. It's beyond new, it's now. As for Theresa Wong, she's a composer herself too, cellist, vocalist, and intermediate artist. So to be very clear, this piece that they're playing, which is called Soundless, this is the US premiere. It was composed by both of them. Theresa Wong's earlier works include Fluency of Trees for solo, cello, and and voice. She dances naked under the palm trees, commissioned in 2018 by pianist Sarah Cahill. The Unlearning, a multimedia song cycle inspired by Goya's etchings about the disasters of war. Two very interesting women here. She and Wong is a 2012 Civitella Ranieri Foundation Fellow and a 2024 Guggenheim Fellow in Music Composition. So very currently, if you're interested in music, which is now, this Soundless is now. Enjoy it. And it's, as far as I can tell, let me double check this. It's at the door, this would cost you $25 to $30 to get in the door. And it's free of charge online. This stuff is gold to give away. Enjoy. What do we have left for you now? I think we have one more upcoming live stream to tell you about. No, I think we may have two. Okay. Yeah, we have two. We have two more to tell you about coming up this week, I'm pretty sure. Although that one really sounds intriguing. You know, you don't necessarily have to like this stuff to be interested in hearing it, because it's what people are creating now. I mean, I want to know what people are creating now, even if I don't like it. You know, most of the classical music that was written before our time, we don't listen to. We listen to a fraction of it. You know, most of it just disappeared, but it was all part of this, you know, the pyramid. It was part of the base of the pyramid. Okay, let's move forward. Thursday evening, January 30th, Constellation Chicago live streams the Ensemble dal Niente, exploring very contemporary chamber music for the horn, the violin, and the piano, a study of silences set in sound. Does that not sort of remind you of the other piece that I told you about, which is on Thursday and Friday, being live streamed by Roulette Intermedium, which is called Soundless? I mean, people are being phenomenological. They're stripping things down to the essence of, well, okay, what is sound and what is silence, and how do they interplay? Which is basic, I guess, and obvious, but anyway. Now, the Ensemble dal Niente actually has about 32 members in it, and they're not bringing in 32 members, they're bringing in 3 members. These 3 that you see above there, okay? First, let me tell you about the program, and then I'll tell you about the people. Switch things around a little bit. The program, they're playing Rebecca Saunders' duo for violin and piano. That was composed in 1999. They're playing Jesse Marino's Piece for the Middle Seat for trio, composed in 2017. They're playing Dai Fujikura's Poyo Poyo for solo horn, composed in 2012. They're playing Louis Dudier's Laughter Studies No. 3, composed in 2016, but revised in 2022. That's for the whole trio. And they'll be playing Hans Abrahamsen's 6 pieces, composed in 1984 for horn, violin, and piano. Interesting, varied. Let me tell you about the different members here. The pianist is Mabel Kwan. You see her in the upper right-hand photo there, though. I think I can show you a separate photo of Mabel Kwan. I hope that we are giving you the link to the website for Ensemble 32, because it's really interesting. Yeah, here's a picture of Mabel Kwan on her own. Well, I tell you a little bit about her. Mabel is a founding member of the Ensemble dal Niente. She tours with the improvised music group Restroy, with the synthesizer duo Mega Laverne and Shirley, okay, and with the trio that plays electronic instrumental music, Ulul, Ulluul. She's a 2019 High Concept Labs artist and 2017 3 Arts awardee. She's been living in Chicago for almost 20 years. She sings vocals with a group called the Lucky Bikes, plays piano with Fifth Season, and plays chamber music with a group called Bridging Memory Through Music, a therapeutic intervention for patients with dementia. She's a Rice University and Northern Illinois University piano performance graduate. She's performed at festivals all over the world. I'll give you a few examples. The Sonic Fusion Festival in Edinburgh, the SALT Festival in Victoria. She's performed at the Library of Congress, Walt Disney Hall, the Metropolitan Museum, etc. So has several solo albums up, but if you think that she's only doing this now stuff, one of the albums is a clavichord album. And she also plays in a number of Ensemble Dal Niente albums. So the thing about these, that many of these people playing the new music, they are classically trained musicians, and yet they're playing contemporary pieces. You know, it's not Schubert anymore, or Haydn. What can I tell you? But it's there, and they know what they're doing with music. They're not doing this unconsciously. Okay, next, the violinist is Theo Ramsey. He's from Boston, and he his claim to his recent big events, he was concertmaster with the New World Symphony in a concert at Carnegie Hall, played chamber music at the LA Phil's Noon to Midnight Festival, and performed at Carnegie Hall, Tanglewood, and Ravinia with the Brooklyn-based orchestral collective, The Knights. Okay, so that's Theo Ramsey, who, let me put up a separate photo of Theo for you while I'm at it. I mean, why not? Here's Theo Ramsey with his violin in hand. So you get an Augenblick of him, a blink of an eye looking at him. And then finally, we have the horn player, Matt Oliphant. Matt lives in Chicago. He formerly was a member of Axiom Brass, where he traveled around the country. It's a brass quintet. He's been principal horn of the St. Paul Chamber Orchestra, the Florida Orchestra, the Chicago Chamber Orchestra, and Orchestra Prometheus, and regularly performs with the experimental ensemble A.P.RI.OD.IC, which is aperiodic when you put it all together. So that's, you know, now these three, they're a part of the Ensemble Dal Niente, which has 32 members, and I'm not going to go into the whole history of that, but you can look up Ensemble Dal Niente. It's very interesting. Okay, finally, we come down to the last of this week's offerings, just until Friday. You see, we're almost at 25 minutes here, and I've just covered from now till Friday. There was no way I could do the weekend, too. It's the Poulenc Trio. Oh, yes. Friday, January 31st, the highly acclaimed Poulenc Trio comes to the Peabody Institute for a live stream concert of Beethoven and three much more contemporary composers, Lee, Benjamin, and Wong, free of charge. That will be at 12:30 p.m. on the East Coast, 9:30 in the morning on the West Coast, 6:30 in the evening in Europe on the Peabody Live channel. We give you the link. They'll be playing Beethoven's Piano Trio No. 4 in B-flat major, Opus 11, the Gassenhauer Trio. I love pronouncing German. James Lee Third's Principal Brothers No. 4, Thomas Benjamin's 3 Etude for Trio, and Viet Quang's Explain Yourself! Hopefully we will give you the link to the Poulenc Trio at poulenchtrio.org. If we don't give it to you. They've been around for 20 years. They played in 47 of the U.S. states. They've done things like the Ravello Festival in Italy, the San Miguel de Allende Festival in Mexico, the White Nights Festival in Russia. They go everywhere. They play everything from Shostakovich to Piazzolla tangos. They also have regularly commissioned and performed over 22 new works for the particular form of trio that they have, consisting, you know, of two woodwinds and piano. They are also involved in a thing called Poulenc and Snacks, which is a series where they offer informal performances and residencies specifically tailored for younger audiences. They've got a debut album their debut album was in 2009, Poulenc Plays Poulenc, another album in 2016, Creation, and the most recent album called Trains of Thought, which according to Music Web International, effortlessly captures occasional touches of sentimentality infused with humor and wit. So, folks, that's what we have for you today. I hope it sounds like an interesting lineup to get you through until Saturday. And I promised you, once we get to the weekend, there's even more, among other things. This past summer, one of the big items we were constantly telling you about was the Seattle Chamber Music Festival, where they did an enormous amount of live streaming. Well, now they're starting their Winter Music Festival. So there's going to be that to tell you about, in addition to at least a half a dozen other live streams. So I'll be back on Friday or Saturday with the layout of all these other live streams to give you in detail. But you will have your eyes and ears full just today and the next 2 days, keeping up with all these other live streams, at least half of which are free of charge. So let me remind you, if you're watching this on Facebook, click on the like button so we can send you an invitation to follow us. If you're watching us on YouTube, click on the subscribe button at the bottom of the page or the lower right-hand corner of the video at the end of the video. If you're watching us on our other platforms, please don't just like the video, but follow us. That'll be on X, TikTok, Instagram, or Threads. I hope that one, more, or any of these live streams I've just told you about inspires you, uplifts you in a moment of truth and beauty, or just gives you a heck of a good time. So ciao for now, and you'll hear from me again later in this week. Bye.